doing there?
Just clicking all my hands and
That's
stuff.
That's a really nice intro. Let's keep that in. Did you do them all at once?
It's like the time that Ross kept in me rolling my eyes. Like sometimes I get eye strain and my eyes just go like funny, and he just start a tear. I can't just do it. It's like a weird tick thing. It just happens when my eyes roll. I just kind of go like, and he just left it in.
The more you know. Let's take a look at the headlines. CM Punk has responded to rumours of a return at AEW Revolution. A planned title change at WWE's Elimination Chamber was scrapped, and a WWE Superstar's return looks to be happening soon. We'll tell you more in a bit. So right, just in case you missed it, and it's doubtful you did because everybody's talking about it right now. Big Show popping up on AEW Dynamite yesterday, making his AEW proper in-person debut to announce that on Sunday at AEW Revolution, a Hall of Fame worthy talent, didn't say wrestler necessarily, a Hall of Fame worthy talent will be joining the company. Now, speculation is absolutely rife, and obviously, where speculation is rife, CM Punk's name is brought into it. And CM Punk has responded to these AEW rumours. He did a Twitter Q&A last night, tweeting, "Let's try this again, Q&A time. Use the hashtag AskPunk. And no, it's not me." Obviously referencing the inevitable questions, but that didn't stop the internet wrestling community who flooded him with questions. He responded to one fan saying 100% not me, and he also brought up the fact that they should focus on who they have when being asked who the best addition to the roster would be. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to happen, but it's not going to be Punk, is it?
It is going to be Punk, isn't it?
Okay.
That's just confirmation. That's confirmation, everybody. Let's get it going. He's just shooting it down so that we're extra surprised when he turns up, and we're not going to be disappointed. Not again. This is the time. 2021 is the year. It's going to happen.
So there's a few names there's a lot of names being rumoured. I think the favourite to win at the moment is Kurt Angle. That's who my money's on at this point. Christian was one that was being rumoured a lot, but there was a report that emerged yesterday saying that Christian has indeed re-signed with WWE, so don't expect it to be him. Sam and I have already sat here and listed off a load of names, including John Cena was on your list.
Scott Steiner's who we want.
I'd love it to be Steiner. I'd love it to be Steiner.
Nothing finer.
It makes sense. Hall of Fame worthy, but he'll never get in there because he's a pissing nutter. What's going to happen with my lighting? Oh, God, there's something in my eyes. Next story. Next up, a new title match has been added to Fastlane. It's the women's tag titles being defended by Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And the challengers are Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, who, of course, have a match for the SmackDown women's title at WrestleMania. I hate this, Sam. What do you think?
I felt like it was really odd. It was sort of put in place by Reginald. Reginald was kind of the catalyst in all of this during the Ding Dong Hello segment last week, when he was like, "Bianca, you shouldn't be challenging." You're right there, mate. Are you getting raptured?
I am. I'm going to ascend to the heavens in a second.
But yeah, essentially, as you said, I'm not quite sure why we're doing this. I get that it's probably going to lead to a bit of a fallout, a little bit of a disagreement, or they win the titles and it makes Mania even more interesting. But
no, I don't think it does. To me, it doesn't make Mania more interesting. It's another example of the tag titles being used to further a singles feud completely unnecessarily.
Well, that's sort of. I didn't mean to make it more interesting. I just meant to make it a bit more like, ooh, what's going to happen with the two? But as you said,
can they coexist? We've never seen that before. I don't know. It does absolutely nout for me. I honestly, I think they should put these women's tag titles on NXT where they'll be used properly and build some proper tag teams down there, because on the main roster they've just never really been cared about at all. And it just completely does my nuts. Speaking of Baszler, WWE have also announced a new match for SmackDown tonight. Shayna going one-on-one with Bianca Belair. That should be decent, at least.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So does it work in the way that I guess that other women's tag champs just singly free to be on both brands?
Yeah, they seem to be. Yeah,
okay, well that's fine. I was worried we were getting back to wildcard situation there, but it should be a great match.
Yeah, it should be decent, and I don't know, I would expect wrestling logic dictates that it would be Bianca picking up the win to indicate that they might capture the tag titles. at Fastlane. I don't really care. Speaking of WWE pay-per-views, great segue, Adam, a planned title change at Elimination Chamber was scrapped. So you may remember that we were going to get Lacey Evans challenging Asuka for the Raw Women's title. According to a report from Fightful, Evans would have captured that title and then continued feuding with Charlotte Flair all the way to WrestleMania. And then at WrestleMania, we would have got Charlotte Flair. This is driving me mad, this, Sam. We would have got Charlotte Flair versus... There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing. It's bouncing off a window. And
get somebody to go stand outside.
Yeah, that's a good... Andrew, I need you really, really quickly. Can you go and stand in front of that window and block the light for me?
What, like from outside?
From outside, quick as you can. We're live, pal.
Let nobody, come on, nobody can say we're not salt of the earth down to...
That's it. No, that way. Up a bit more. Perfect. Right. So then the match would have happened for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania, where I guess Charlotte would have inevitably won. Imagine if they did. If they gave Lacey the win after not giving Rhea the win, after not giving Asuka the win.
Yeah, that'd be... I don't know how it would even be processed.
Charlotte would go over anyway. Charlotte would definitely go over.
Yeah, but even then,
there.
I don't know how that end game would be processed. It's all very samey, isn't it?
Yep. Moving on once again. I'll be as quick as I can. Don't worry, Andrew. He can't hear me. He's on the other side of a window. There's people in the office opposite looking at this absolute nutter. He's gone like this, right? He's up there like that.
He's looked like he's about to break in.
Tony Khan, guest on this week's Unrestricted podcast, revealing a few things mainly to do with Revolution. We're just going to get through them really, really quickly. Young Bucks versus MJF and Chris Jericho will open the pay-per-view. Only he knows who the sixth entrant in the ladder match is. It could be, well, I guess no. That means, because Big Show knows who's coming in on Sunday. So Big Show doesn't know. So the person who's the sixth man in that ladder match, I guess, isn't the person that the Big Show's bringing in. 1,300 fans will be in attendance. AEW Dark Elevation, he's commented on that. It'll be a mix of veterans and future young stars, which is partly the reason why so many legends are being signed, as they can help less experienced performers get ready for TV. And the rivalry between Omega and Moxley will continue for the foreseeable future after WrestleMania Revolution. After wrestling at Evolution. Next up, Jey Uso has dropped a little hint on a planned WWE return, which seems to be it's going to happen soon. Jimmy Uso obviously has been out of action since tearing his ACL in the Triple Threat ladder match almost a year ago, WrestleMania 36. That's nuts, that, isn't it? We've seen him pop up once or twice, obviously, to get involved in the storyline between Roman and Jay. But his brother, Jay, recently speaking to SK Wrestling, dropping a hint about when he might return, saying that the Uso Penitentiary will be opening soon. So expect him back sooner rather than later. The timetable, it was commented on last year in September that the timetable for his return would be January or February this year. So that's
why I thought he was going to be coming back a little earlier. But,
me too.
As long as he's back.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it a lot. I'm looking forward to seeing the team together as well.
Right now, it's going to be great.
Yeah, and we'll finish with NXT TakeOver. There are reports that this WrestleMania week's TakeOver, which is happening on Thursday, could be a two-parter. They might do two parts to NXT TakeOver. So with part one would be airing on NXT TV on the USA Network, so that would be part one, and then part two would actually be what we now know as being TakeOver, which is that date that's been confirmed for the Thursday.
It's the ultimate buy-in. You got to look at it from that perspective. If it's on TV, people aren't interested in maybe watching the pay-per-view. If they watch it, they get on board with it. Maybe they'll pick up the network, or Peacock, or whatever they've got to do now. But I can see it working. It's NXT. They've never really dropped the ball with events, and I guess if they're going to spread it over two nights, then they'll somehow make it work.
And then the previous weeks would be the go home. I don't know. There's just a whole lot of wrestling at the moment. And when you try and make everything seem like a big deal, as a result, everything else feels a bit diluted and a little bit less special to me. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm keen or not, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe that's William Regal's groundbreaking announcement. Andrew, pull it down. You're done. Goodbye.